My kid's substitute teacher asked, "Why does your child know classified information about the Pentagon?" I nearly spilled my coffee in the school parking lot. "What do you mean classified information?" I asked, forcing a laugh. But Mrs. Henderson wasn't smiling. She pulled me aside, lowering her voice. During social studies, Tommy described the Pentagon's underground tunnel system, security checkpoints, code names for restricted areas. He knew things I've never even read about. That's not something a fourth grader should know. My stomach flipped. I tried to sound calm. Maybe he saw a documentary? She shook her head. No, he was too specific. And the way he explained it, like he'd seen it himself. The drive home was unbearable. Tommy sat in the back seat humming, tapping his Nintendo, like nothing had happened. "Hey, buddy," I asked carefully, "where'd you hear about the Pentagon tunnels?" He looked up casually. "Grandpa told me." He showed me pictures. My knuckles tightened on the steering wheel. Grandpa had died when Tommy was 3, and as far as I knew, my dad had been an accountant. He'd never mentioned the Pentagon. That night, I called my mother. "Mom, did Dad ever work at the Pentagon?" A long silence on the other end. Finally, "Why would Tommy know about that?" My chest went tight. "Because he's describing things a kid shouldn't know." "What aren't you telling me?" Her sigh was shaky. "Your father made me promise never to talk about his work. Said it was for our safety. But maybe it's time." When she came over, she carried a battered box. Inside were photos, ID badges, documents, all showing my father deep inside secure Pentagon areas. He worked intelligence analysis. 30 years. Everything was classified. I flipped through photos of underground facilities I'd never seen before. But how could Tommy know this? My mother's face drained of color. "He visits me after school every Tuesday. I thought you knew." My blood ran cold. "No, he rides the bus home." We confronted Tommy together. "Have you been going to Grandma's without telling me?" His shoulders slumped. "Grandma said it was our secret." She let me look at Grandpa's office. He showed me the maps on his computer. My skin prickled. Grandpa was gone. But in my mother's basement, hidden behind a locked door, was a room full of filing cabinets, government issue binders, and an old desktop still humming. Tommy ran to it like it was his favorite toy. "See? This is where Grandpa showed me the cameras." He pulled up Pentagon schematics in seconds, navigating directories with practiced clicks. My mother whispered, horrified, "Those machines were never decommissioned. They're still linked to the network." I didn't hesitate. I called the FBI. Hi haba haba. Within hours, men in suits were in our house, combing through my father's old systems. Agent Patterson explained grimly, "Your father's credentials were never revoked. Someone's been using them to pull restricted data for months." He showed me logs, every Tuesday, 6 months straight, exactly when Tommy was at my mother's. "But my son's just a child," I said, my voice cracking. Patterson studied Tommy, who sat calmly sketching a floor plan on a notepad. "Children can memorize extraordinary detail. He might be repeating information he stumbled onto." Or, his gaze hardened, "someone has been deliberately using him as cover." By midnight, every computer was confiscated. Forensics teams whispered about breaches, possible espionage. One agent held up Tommy's notepad, perfectly drawn schematics labeled with code words no child should know. "We can't charge him, but this is a national security leak," Patterson said. "He'll need debriefing, and you need to keep him away from anything connected to your father's past." For weeks afterward, federal agents met with Tommy, asking questions, trying to understand how much he'd absorbed. They said he wasn't in trouble, but he couldn't discuss what he knew. Not at school, not with friends, not even with me. Sometimes I caught him doodling new maps, or muttering acronyms under his breath he couldn't possibly understand. Every time, I felt the same chill. My father had spent decades buried in secrets, and somehow, even from beyond the grave, he'd managed to pass them on.